Picture this. You wake up every morning at 5 a.m., drink your green smoothie, meditate for exactly 20 minutes, and tackle your most challenging task first thing. Sound familiar? Well, what if I told you that this supposedly bulletproof routine for intelligence might actually be making you dumber? Today, we're diving deep into the counterintuitive world of highly intelligent individuals. And trust me, what you discover might completely flip your understanding of what it means to be truly smart. But first, subscribe to our channel. Most of us have been fed a steady diet of productivity porn and intelligence hacks that sound impressive but miss the mark entirely. We chase the latest brain training apps, optimize our morning routines down to the minute, and collect intellectual habits like trading cards. But here's the kicker. The people who are genuinely operating at the highest levels of intelligence often do things that would make traditional productivity gurus cringe. I've spent years studying the daily patterns of researchers, entrepreneurs, artists, and innovators who consistently produce breakthrough thinking. What I found wasn't a collection of perfectly optimized routines, but rather a series of practices that seem almost backwards. These individuals have figured out something that most of us miss completely. True intelligence isn't about cramming more information into your brain or following someone else's perfect system. It's about creating the right conditions for your mind to make unexpected connections, challenge assumptions, and see possibilities that others can't. So buckle up, because we're about to explore habits that might sound lazy, unproductive, or even counterintuitive. But by the end of this journey, you'll understand why the smartest people deliberately seek discomfort, schedule time for boredom, and treat failure like their personal trainer for the mind. Let's start with something that goes against every piece of conventional wisdom you've ever heard. Highly intelligent people actively seek out situations that make them uncomfortable, while most of us naturally gravitate toward what feels easy and familiar. These individuals have trained themselves to run toward the very experiences that make their brains hurt. Think about it this way. Your brain is essentially a muscle that grows stronger under stress. When you consistently choose the path of least resistance, you're essentially putting your intellect on a comfortable retirement plan. But when you deliberately place yourself in situations where you don't have all the answers, where you might look foolish, or where you're forced to think in entirely new ways, you're actually upgrading your cognitive operating system. This doesn't mean being reckless or seeking stress for its own sake. Instead, it means having what I call strategic discomfort. Maybe it's signing up for a class in a subject you know nothing about, engaging in debates with people who fundamentally disagree with you, or taking on projects that stretch your current capabilities. The key is that these experiences should feel slightly overwhelming, like you're constantly reaching just beyond your current grasp. Here's where it gets even more interesting. Highly intelligent individuals have mastered the art of strategic boredom. In our hyper-connected world, we've become addicted to constant mental stimulation. The moment we feel even a hint of emptiness or quiet, we reach for our phones, turn on a podcast, or find some other way to fill the void. But brilliant minds do exactly the opposite. They understand that creativity and insight don't come from consuming more information. They come from giving your brain the space to process, connect, and synthesize what you already know. This is why many breakthrough ideas happen in the shower, during long walks, or in those quiet moments just before sleep. Your subconscious mind is incredibly powerful, but it needs downtime to work its magic. So these individuals deliberately build boredom into their schedules. They take long walks without headphones. They sit in cafes without books or devices. They create pockets of mental emptiness where their minds can wander and make unexpected connections. It sounds unproductive, but it's actually one of the most productive things you can do for your intelligence. And speaking of counterintuitive approaches, let's talk about how truly intelligent people treat failure. While most of us see mistakes as things to avoid or quickly forget, highly intelligent individuals actively pursue failure like it's their job. They understand something that our education system completely failed to teach us. Failure is data, and data is the fuel of intelligence. This goes way beyond just being resilient or having a growth mindset. These people create what I call failure laboratories in their lives. They deliberately take on challenges where success isn't guaranteed. They experiment with ideas that might not work. They ask questions that might make them look ignorant. Why? Because each failure teaches them something that success never could. When you succeed at something, you learn that your current approach works. But when you fail, you learn about the boundaries of your knowledge, the limitations of your assumptions, and the gaps in your understanding. Highly intelligent people collect these failures like precious gems because they represent opportunities to upgrade their mental models. Now let's dive into something that might sound completely backwards: the power of what I call paradoxical productivity. While conventional wisdom tells us to eliminate distractions and maximize focus, highly intelligent people have discovered that sometimes the best way to solve a hard problem is to deliberately not think about it. They understand that the brain operates on multiple levels simultaneously. Your conscious mind might be wrestling with a complex challenge, but your subconscious is always working in the background, making connections and processing information. The trick is knowing when to engage direct focus and when to let your mind wander. This is why many brilliant individuals have what others might call lazy habits. They take naps in the middle of the day. They play video games or engage in seemingly frivolous activities. They allow themselves to get distracted by interesting rabbit holes that have nothing to do with their current projects. But this isn't procrastination, it's strategic cognitive processing. The key is what I call intentional distraction. Instead of mindlessly scrolling social media, they choose activities that engage different parts of their brain. Maybe it's playing a musical instrument, working on a jigsaw puzzle, or having a random conversation with a stranger. These activities aren't directly related to their main intellectual pursuits, but they create the conditions for unexpected insights and creative breakthroughs. This ties into another fascinating habit: the balance between deep work and shallow play. Highly intelligent people understand that your brain needs both intense focus and lighthearted exploration. They might spend hours in deep concentration on a complex problem, but they balance this with activities that feel more like play than work. This isn't just about work-life balance, it's about cognitive balance. Different types of thinking require different mental states. Sometimes you need the laser focus of deep work to push through complex problems. Other times you need the open, exploratory mindset of play to see new possibilities. The smartest people have learned to dance between these two modes depending on what their current challenge requires. Let's shift gears and talk about how highly intelligent individuals approach knowledge itself. While most of us are taught to accumulate facts and build expertise, truly brilliant minds have developed a different relationship with what they know. They treat their own knowledge with healthy skepticism. This shows up as a habit of questioning everything, including their own assumptions and beliefs. They understand that intelligence isn't about having all the right answers. It's about asking better questions. They've trained themselves to notice when they're operating from unexamined assumptions and to regularly challenge their own thinking. This creates what I call intellectual humility. Instead of defending their existing knowledge, they're constantly looking for ways their current understanding might be incomplete or incorrect. They actively seek out information that contradicts their beliefs, not to be contrarian, but because they understand that growth comes from the edges of our comfort zones. Connected to this is their ability to maintain what Zen Buddhists call beginner's mind. Even in areas where they have deep expertise, highly intelligent people approach problems with fresh eyes. They ask basic questions that experts normally wouldn't think to ask. They look at familiar situations from unfamiliar angles. This isn't about pretending to be ignorant. It's about recognizing that expertise can sometimes become a prison. When you know too much about how something is supposed to work, you might miss new possibilities or innovative approaches. Beginner's mind allows you to see what experts have become blind to. Perhaps one of the most powerful habits I've observed is the ability to make connections across completely different fields and disciplines. While our education system encourages specialization, highly intelligent individuals are constantly building bridges between seemingly unrelated areas of knowledge. They might read philosophy books to improve their programming skills, study music theory to understand mathematical patterns, or explore anthropology to enhance their business strategies. This isn't random intellectual curiosity, it's strategic cross-pollination. The most innovative insights often come from applying concepts from one field to problems in a completely different area. This habit requires what I call intellectual courage. It means being willing to look foolish by asking questions outside your area of expertise. It means spending time learning things that might not have immediate practical value. But over time, these diverse inputs create a rich foundation for creative thinking and problem solving. Now let's address something that traditional intelligence discussions often ignore: the role of emotions and physical well-being in cognitive performance. Highly intelligent people understand that your brain doesn't operate in isolation. Your emotional state, physical health, and sleep quality all directly impact your ability to think clearly and creatively. This shows up as careful attention to what I call emotional calibration. They've learned to recognize how different emotional states affect their thinking. They know when they're too anxious to be creative, too excited to think critically, or too tired to tackle complex problems. Instead of pushing through regardless of their internal state, they adjust their activities to match their current capacity. They also treat sleep as a non-negotiable foundation for intelligence. While hustle culture often glorifies sleep deprivation as a sign of dedication, truly intelligent people understand that a well-rested brain dramatically outperforms an exhausted one. They prioritize sleep not as laziness, but as an investment in cognitive performance. This extends to physical exercise, nutrition, and stress management. They understand that taking care of their bodies isn't separate from developing their minds. It's an essential part of the process. A healthy body provides the stable foundation that allows for peak cognitive performance. As we wrap up this exploration of counterintuitive intelligence habits, let's zoom out and look at what this all means for how we think about being smart. The traditional model of intelligence focuses on processing speed, memory capacity, and analytical thinking. But the habits we've explored today point toward a more holistic understanding of what it means to be truly intelligent. Real intelligence isn't about cramming more information into your head or optimizing every moment of your day. It's about creating the right conditions for insight, maintaining intellectual flexibility, and understanding how your mind actually works. It's about being comfortable with uncertainty, embracing failure as feedback, and staying curious about the world around you. The most intelligent people have figured out that thinking isn't just about what happens between your ears during focused work sessions. It's about how you live your entire life, how you structure your days, and how you interact with the world around you. Intelligence is as much about what you choose not to do as what you choose to do. So here's my challenge for you. Look at your current routines and ask yourself whether they're actually serving your intelligence or just making you feel productive. Are you creating space for boredom and reflection? Are you actively seeking out failure and discomfort? Are you questioning your own assumptions and staying open to being wrong? The path to greater intelligence isn't about following someone else's perfect system. It's about understanding these principles and experimenting with how they might work in your own life. Start small, be patient with the process, and remember that the goal isn't to become a more efficient information processor, but to develop the kind of flexible, creative, insightful thinking that allows you to see possibilities others miss. Your intelligence isn't fixed, and it's not determined by how well you follow conventional productivity advice. It's shaped by the daily choices you make about how to engage with the world, how to treat your own mind, and how to structure your life for continuous growth and discovery. If you got value from this video, like it and subscribe to our channel.